Hello guys, hello, it's 10 here to bring you through another exciting game of murders on the Yangtze River. I'm very excited to bring you this game. Why? Let me show you why. Because this game was just recently released and it is top 5 top 5 in top 5 ranked Steam games right now. So, well, we tried Persona 3, which I think was great, Shippy, which was awesome, Palworld, I think everyone knows how big success this game had. But right now, I will check this game, Murders on the Yangtze River. It looks to be Chinese game. I don't know for sure. It take place in China, and this is demo version. Why? I'm of course not afraid to spend $15 on Steam, but game is not yet released in English version. Not to mention, nor Polish, nor German. So I think it's only in Chinese. However, the demo version is translated, and we could expect full game to be released in English right soon. Pretty much, because it's supposed to be on March 2024. So guys, I hope you guys don't have expectations. I don't have any expectations. Well, maybe I'm hoping a little bit to be positively surprised, because, well, yeah, of the reviews. But well, you never know. So let's, with this mindset, let's start exploring this game, and let's see. I can't wait. So if you can't wait either, so then let's go. Yep, new game. I've been to China for a couple of days in the transit, to be honest. Today, and well, there are many things I liked about China, many things I didn't like, but with so huge population, you probably, well, it's given. Alright, let's proceed. So today's the day I will be murdered. I have made an arrangement with death. Now I wait for him to open my doors. Unexpected misfortune. Open up! If you won't open these doors, we are breaking in. Uncle? He's been murdered! Don't move an inch, you punk! After incense stick of time. Would ya look at that? The murderer sleeping like a baby at the scene of the crime. My head is spinning. I can't seem to clear my mind. It's John Shen. The murderer. Could he be talking about me? Okay, Yeah, I'm intrigued. Tap the left and right arrow keys to control movement. Stay still and quit moving, you murderer. No, it was not me. I am just a detective. I came here to... Don't try to weasel your way out of this. Trust me, I'll torture you if I have to. Officer Ma, allow him to finish. It is necessary to verify his true identity. I am John Shen, a traveling detective. My assistant Frankie and I arrived in this town last night to obtain clues on an old case. Our ship broke down en route and we were not able to pull into shore until late in the evening. Tap left and right to control movement. Okay. I can't believe we got so late, considering our inventor burned the generator. That's the shipmaster's fault. I warned him. His greatest fault was allowing you on board. There's a young lady crying over there. Inquire. Excuse me, miss, are you alright? Huh? Why did she run away? Perhaps it is a delicate matter. Well, let's continue on our way then. Anyway, who are we visiting? A novelist. I think he's the key to breaking that case. Destination will be just past this. I will see you later. What? Am I not joining you? You need to find spare parts to repair the ship. Alright. Come back soon. I'm off then. Who goes there? It's late. I am John Shen. I have an appointment with Mr. Robert Lowe to meet today. My journey was delayed by a storm en route. I did not wish to break our appointment, so I took the liberty of arriving at such late hours. John Shen, have we met before? We have never met in person. We have always communicating through letters. Oh, I remember now. One moment. Okay. Come on in, Mr. Shen. Please wait a moment, Mr. Shen. I must finish writing the story on hand for fear of breaking my train of thought. No need to worry. I shall bide my time and wait for yours. It's cold in the evening. Could I trouble you to close and latch the door for me? Well... Oh, okay. I did it. Wonder if I can click on stuff. Mirror. Western style mirror. It seems out of place compared with other furniture in this room. Wardrobe. A wardrobe slightly taller than a person. A lock hangs from the handles. Bed. There were piles of old books underneath the novelist's bed. They are all covered in dust, which means that he has not read them in quite a while. Can't go further. Guess we have to... The doors have been closed. Please be at ease. I came here today on account of an important matter. Have you ever heard of the peculiar case that happened in Tokyo, Japan 3 years ago? Let's take our time to talk about this case. You must be tired for traveling afar. I'm sure you haven't had anything to eat yet. There are some local rice cakes on the chest beside me. Please, I insist, have a taste. Then it would be rude of me to decline. There are a few pieces of translucent pastries on the plate. I'm quite hungry, perhaps just one piece. No, wait, these rice cakes. This is what had happened. After I ate the cake, I lost consciousness until you all arrived. So you're saying that you fainted inside this room because someone had drugged you? Yes, that is correct. I told you not to weasel. Even if you were drugged, the only possible murderer is you. I've got ironclad proof. There's no way I'm wrong. Officer Ma, would it be possible to ask you to elaborate on what the ironclad proof is? How dare you, trying to provoke me? Truth fears no questions. Surely the judge also wants to see your proof to avoid misjudgment. Well, without question, there shall be no misjudgment. Tell us what you know then, Officer Ma, just so I could be at peace with this arrest. Fine. Just so you know how you got caught. Deduction. Judge Chang, it's simple. Up until we found the body, this room was completely sealed off. Sealed off? The window frame prevents anyone from entering or living through it. The door was bolted from the inside. If I hadn't broken the latch with my kick, we wouldn't even have been able to get in. That's right. Which means that the murderer could only be somebody who was already in the room. And that somebody is you. How? How could this be? The room was sealed off, and I was the one who latched the door. Ain't the truth as clear as day now? Won't you just confess already? Officer Ma's reasoning is sound. I believe there has been no misjudgment. Mr. Shen, unless you are able to provide conclusive evidence to prove your innocence, I have no choice but to give orders to take you into custody. Both of my hands are tied. How am I supposed to find evidence in such short amount of time? John Shell, calm yourself down. This problem can be solved through observation and reasoning. All actions are bound to leave a trace on scene. I am absolutely sure that I did not murder the victim. Someone is trying to frame me. So I will be able to find within the traces left behind at the scene a contradiction. Before I answer Judge Chang's questions, I need to carefully observe the scene first. Well, yeah, so the blood on my sleeve most probably belongs to the deceased, but it is your right hand, while it seems like there's also blood on my back as well. Quit moving, you punk. What are you trying at? Alright, well, it's left hand here, while it's right hand here. Wait, Could I trouble you to help me take off my coat? Oh, how dare you order me around? I would like to take a look at the back to see if it is also stained with blood. Indeed, Mr. Shen, there are blood stains on your back. That's obviously the victim's blood. New clue. This is my coat. The left sleeve is stained in blood, and there are blood spatters across the back. short blade stained with blood. This should be the murder weapon, found within my grasp and now seen as evidence against me. Several long continuous blood spatters on the floor. They are cast off pattern blood stains. There is an obvious discontinuation with the 3 longest blood spatters. Right. Of course. How could this be? A discontinuation in the blood spatter is most likely caused by something being removed. Right, something blocked the way. That's what I think. The appearance of discontinuation shows that something that was once there has been moved. The victim died facing upwards, with multiple wounds on his chest, clothes stained with blood. My hands and feet are tied, so I cannot get any closer to see any other detail on the corpse. Okay, we did good. Have you found evidence that can prove your innocence? This piece of evidence will be able to prove my innocence. Well, I hope it's the right thing to do. Let's submit the blood-stained coat. Officer Ma, is a person able to kill someone with a knife while having his back towards them? Of course not. If so, this blood-stained coat will be able to prove my innocence. So this coat ain't yours? It is mine. I am wearing it. What kinda cocaine is this? With knife and blood, you're still saying you ain't guilty? Mr. Shen, how does this blood-stained coat prove that you are innocent? Take a look at where the bloodstains are. They appeared on my back and not across the chest. So what does that imply? It implies that I had my back towards the victim when his blood was spilled. As my back is facing the victim, I am unable to raise a knife to stab his chest. That is quite reasonable. The floor has multiple cast-off pattern blood stains, including one with a noticeable gap. It shows that there was once something there that had been moved later on. Yet someone messed with the crime scene. That something was probably me. I am right. The blood stain on my back should be able to match the bloodstain on the floor. This will prove that I was unconscious on the floor during the time of the crime. Therefore, the truth of the matter is, after the murderer killed Robert, he planted the knife in my hands to frame me for his crime. If even while you are completely tied up, you are still able to calmly analyze the crime scene. Mr. Shen, that's impressive. It seems that you really are a detective. You flatter me, Your Honor. So my suspicion has finally been cleared. Your logic is sound, but if not you, then Robert killed himself. If I want to find out the truth, I need to thoroughly investigate the crime scene. However, with my hands and feet tied up, it is impossible. Officer Ma, how about we untie him? Your Honor, what if he... Rest assured, Your Honor, I will not leave this place until we get to the bottom of this case. If you try any funny business, you'll pay for it. I am finally allowed to move around this room. I need to investigate the crime scene as quick as possible. I cannot miss a single detail. Throughout investigations, I will surely encounter many doubts. I should think carefully. This is Robert's corpse. Should I commence an autopsy now? Press the screen and hold. His mustache is crooked. Upon further inspection, there is glue on the underside. Mustache shape looks Western, not Han Chinese. Apparently, deceased is wearing a fake mustache. Male corpse declared legally deceased. Okay. There's white powder on the collar of the deceased. Feels like something made from glutinous rice. These are crumbs from the rice cake. It seems that Robert had eaten a rice cake before he died. Collar stained with white rice cake powder. His chest is stained with blood. Among the 3 evident stab wounds, 2 were fatal. I can see 1 big here, possibly 2. But where's the 3rd? Is it this one? Or is it somewhere here? Well, it's hard to say. The wound is small and deep. The shape of the wound is consistent with the bloodstained knife. The locations of the 3 stab wounds are irregular and in different directions as well. Wait, maybe it is important to notice. Okay, locations of 3 stab wounds are irregular in different directions. 3 fatal stab wounds. faint fragrance can be smelled from the hair of the deceased. The scent is neither from flowers or incense or cologne. It seems to resemble a scent similar to camphor wood. Okay. Limbs. There were no abnormalities found on the limbs of the deceased. No hesitation wounds or defense wounds are present on any part of his body. This is quite peculiar. Deceased is in his undergarments and his coat is gone. I have searched the entire room for it, but it is nowhere to be found. If this room is a locked room, how could the coat disappear out of thin air? Death by stabbing, no defense wounds, wore a false mustache, only dressed in undergarments, hair smelled of camphor wood. I have completed investigation on the corpse. I need to reconsider relative doubts. There were several pieces of rice cake on the plate, but now they are all gone. Clarence, uncle, you suffered such a miserable death. I'm sorry for your loss. In order to uncover the truth, I need to ask you a few questions. You're the one who murdered him. There's no need for your crocodile tears. Someone murdered your uncle and framed me. I am sure you would like to find out the truth as much as I do. Go on and ask them. Events of the morning. Please tell me about the events you encountered this morning. My uncle and I had arrangement to go to the book market this morning. We both are novelists. Are you also a novelist? Well, not yet, but I'll be a prolific novelist, rich in publications one day. I understand. Please continue. When the arrangement time came, he didn't show up. He's rarely late, so I came here to look for him. When I arrived, I saw Earl Yang was already here. He said that he didn't see my uncle either. I knocked on the door for quite a while, but no one answered. I have a sensitive nose, so I kept sensing the smell of blood coming from inside the room. Perhaps it was my novelist instinct, feeling something terrible, so that I told Earl to get help. When we finally entered the room, I found that my uncle had been murdered. Go on and ask them. Suspicious people. Of your uncle's interpersonal relationship. Have you ever noticed anyone suspicious? Aren't you the most suspicious person? Then let me pose this question differently. Has your uncle held any grudges against anyone? My uncle is very friendly, but he held some kind of grudge against Earl, the errant runner. What kind of grudge? Earl attempted to steal coins from the table during a delivery, but my uncle caught him. Earl was seized by the government and got beaten for it too. When did this happening occur? It was about half a month ago, so I'm sure he's still bitter about it. Do you suspect that Earl murdered him out of vengeance? After all, he's the one who delivers rice cakes to my uncle. Also, when I arrived here this morning, he was already here. I don't know how long he'd been. Now that I recall, he did have a sort of sneaky look on his face. It seems that it is necessary to talk about this issue with Earl. Robert's desk is placed in front of the window. When I met him last night, he was bent over his desk. Let me take a look at what he has on his desk. There's a pile of blank calligraphy papers in the drawer, with a paperweight placed on the top. Next to the papers are 2 new pens, 3 candles, and a box of matches. There's also a small box. It is an ink cartridge made of tin, holding half-used ink block. A rack with 4 calligraphy brushes hanging on it. A piece of oil paper underneath the rack. The ink. Are these bloodstains? The ink on one of the calligraphy brushes has not dried out yet. Frame on the window that would stop person from climbing in or out. No traces of scaling. Okay. There is a pile of blank calligraphy papers in the drawer, with a paperweight placed on top. Next to the papers are 2 new pens. Okay, I already seen that. There's a small box in cartridge, yeah. Simple square-shaped inkstone. There are several plum blossoms engraved on the side. There's a layer of residual ink on the inkstone that is starting to harden into gelled state. Here is a book titled Tales of the Moon Colony. There are several magazines underneath it, all of which are illustrated fiction. A stack of newspapers, various issues of the Shanghai News, have all published Robert's works. A stack of books on the table, including Investigator and The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Right, one last piece of clue. Not here. A rack with 4. Okay, I already had that. Okay, we got that as well. What else? Okay, we got that. Amen. Alright, then. Sorry. Common white pomelo candlestick. There is still half a stick of unburned candle on top. Alright. So it seems like something is missing from the table. Unusualness of the desk. It seems something is missing. It seems like something is missing from the desk. What could it be? Alright. Wardrobe. Wardrobe slightly taller than a person. It is locked. Let me pick. I gave up. If only Frankie was here. He's very skilled in things like this. Wooden chess. Walnut bedside table. There are books and several old newspapers on top. Within the bedside table are undergarments and such. There's a newspaper here that carries the news of Robert publishing his novels. Presumed innocent? I have heard about this novel before, but didn't know that he was the author. Photo on this newspaper. The one on the left is Robert, and the one on the right seems to be a lady we saw last night. According to this, the young lady is Petra Liu, an editor who helped Robert publish his books. Robotor. The code must be still inside this room. Code crash between. Clarence stated that Earl was responsible for delivering rice cakes. Earl had the chance to tamper with the rice cakes. He also had the motive. Could it be that Earl killed him out of revenge? I need to confirm this issue with Earl. He did not find any hesitation wounds. It's very unusual for a suicide case. No injuries caused by fight or fall. It's also quite unusual for a homicide case. This can explain why there aren't any defense wounds present. Okay. That's like there's no correlation between them. Do I have to click on everything? He was in a state of unconsciousness when he was murdered. That's, yeah. There must have been another person in the room at that time. That person is the murderer. Who could it have been? How were they able to leave the locked room? The room was locked. Yeah, was the one who latched the door. Only Robert and I were inside the room until Ma broke in. The only way to enter or exit the room is by going through the wooden front door. How did the murderer leave the scene without removing the door latch, or perhaps the other way? How did the murderer latch the door from the outside? Yeah, good question. Bet. There were piles of old books underneath the novelist's bed. They are all covered in dust, which means that he has not read them in quite a while. See my reflection in the Western style mirror. Will I be able to clear my name successfully? Officer Ma. I can't believe Judge Chang would allow you to join in our investigations. Don't even try to play any tricks, I'm watching your every move. Rest assured, officer, I will uncover the actual murder. You better keep in mind, don't mess up the crime scene with your incompetence. Of course. In order to find out the truth, I would like, officer, to answer a few of my questions. Go on. Events before I awoke. Were there any other people present when you arrived on scene? What happened? Why are you asking so much? Are you trying to say that I didn't protect the crime scene? Let me give you the facts. Everything is exactly the way it was when we arrived. No one's allowed to mess with the crime scene under my watch. You misunderstand me. I just want to know what happened before I woke. On arrival, Clarence was shaking the door saying he smelled blood and feared for his uncle. So I went up and kicked the door open. After that, well, you know what happened after. I suppose no one could have come in or gone out during that period. Obviously, I've got a solid soldier standing guard outside the courtyard. We searched the entire premise, but we didn't find others, during which no one left either. That's why the murderer is definitely you. Who else could it be, huh? I understand. Once I complete my investigations, I will explain everything to you, Officer Ma. Go on then. Relationships. Were you familiar with Robert? Did he have any relatives, perhaps enemies? He was an old fella who doesn't like socializing, but I ain't ever heard him making any enemies. Was a broken down scholar. After failing exams, he became a writer and succeeded. Heard his wife died young. They had no children. He does have a nephew though. Stop crying already. I'm sick of that awful noise. Alright. Go on then, ask no more questions. Judge Chang, did you notice anything out of the ordinary when you arrived? Well, I was not aware of anything unusual. Clarence shook the door, Officer Ma kicked it open, and we found you and Robert covered in blood. I suppose no one suspicious was discovered during that process. Well, none at all. Alright, I understand. Damn. Oh, what's this? Detective. Chinese word for detective appeared. Do I have to read all of this? General knowledge. Okay, I don't think this is important. Huh, simple and modest front door made of pine wood. Broken latch still hangs on the door, exposing the grain of the wood. Did you say that you broke the latch with a kick? When I got here, Clarence was shaking the door with all his might. What good would that do when the door is latched from the inside? So I went up and bam! Kicked the door right open. brown lines within. I'm not sure what they are. What do they mean? Looks like it could be destroyed with the kick. Oh, I can exit, okay. John, I've been waiting for you. Frankie, I heard there's been a murderer in that house. His owner has orders that there's to be no shouting at the crime scene. John, you don't look very well. Is everything alright? I'm fine. However, I'm afraid I will have to stay here until the truth is uncovered. Have you found the murderer? Who is the prime suspect? At the moment, the prime suspect is me. Hahaha, I can't believe the murderer was actually you. Let me help you. No random people aren't allowed. Mr. Soldier, not just some random person. Orders. Sir, he ordered you to guard the gate to keep out people irrelevant to the case, right? You're not wrong. If someone is relevant, should he be allowed to enter? That's true. Sir, John is unfortunately a suspect in this case. He's trying to clear his name. As I am his trustworthy assistant, don't you think that I am also involved in this case? I get it now. I knew Mr. Soldier would understand. You're the accomplice. The accomplice is also involved in investigations. You can come in and be investigated. Can't be delayed. John Shen briefed Frankie. That is general situation. So that is your evaluation of this case? Nope, this is just a sign for becoming an accomplice. It was good enough that they allowed you to come in. Hurry up and help me investigate. Rice cakes. Hey detective, what is this? These rice cakes are local delicacy. I ate a piece last night. Why did you pause, detective? How did you feel? I did not feel much. I ate a piece last night and lost consciousness right after. Seeing your reaction, this bundle of rice cakes probably is not laced with knockout drugs. Earl Yang. Mr. Official, when can I go? I still have some steamed buns to deliver this morning. Excuse me, who may you be? My name is Earl Yang. I run errands on the daily. I was the one who called the officials today. May I ask you about the case? Of course, everyone around knows that I'm warm-hearted, considerate, helpful, friendly. Just tell me about what happened this morning. Mr. Law loves rice cakes. Every morning he will ask me to deliver a bundle. As I specialize in errand running, my service is 100% impeccable. Everyone around knows. Just tell me about what you saw when you arrived at Robert's courtyard. Usually Mr. Law is already out of bed and exercising in the courtyard waiting for me. This morning when I came to deliver the rice cakes, I didn't see Mr. Law anywhere. I thought he probably overslept. So I hollered for him, but there was no response. I saw the gates were open, so I went inside the courtyard and put the rice cakes on the table. Then Clarence, Mr. Law's nephew, called my name, saying he was also looking for his uncle. He went over to knock on the door, but there was still no response at all. Smelled the blood, asked me to call officials. I was so scared, so I ran all the way to the government office and got Officer Ma. Officer Ma and Clarence kicked open the doors together while I waited outside. You mean to say that you never entered Robert's house? After hearing someone died in there, my legs were scared stiff. How could I dare to go in? I was planning to leave, but a soldier came and blocked the gate, so I got stranded here. I understand now, thank you. How much do you know about Robert? Errant runner, really not that familiar. When I was here, there was a bunch of times I saw Robert Law and Officer Ma meeting in private. They seemed to be real acquainted with one another, but there was once they got into a fight and Officer Ma even unsheathed his blade. Did you hear what they were talking about? The time they were fighting, I didn't dare to listen. Officer Ma was quite furious. I need to confirm the dispute with Officer Ma. Is there anything else? Oh, the rice cakes. The rice cakes Robert eats are delivered by you, is that correct? Sure, I deliver every day. Last night I passed out after eating a rice cake. It was lacked with drugs. What? That it wasn't me, I didn't do that, don't say weird things. I have nothing against Mr. Law and never ever meet you before, why would I do that? Did the rice cakes you delivered to Robert ever pass through the hands of someone else? Impossible. If something is handed to me, there's no way I would give it to someone else. However, I heard that Law is very fond of rice cakes. It's possible someone else bought it for him. Do you know of anyone who gifted him rice cakes? Not a clue. How about you let me go and ask Merchant Bao? Everyone around knows that I'm... No, thank you. Grudge against Robert. That's a good investigation, you know, like we're asking about everything. Have you heard you had a grudge? Is that true? No way, how could I ever have the guts to hold a grudge against Mr. Law? Noticed you stealing his money. You were beaten for it? That was misunderstanding. How could that even count as a grudge? I saw silver coins on the floor, so I wanted to pick them up and return them to him. That's all in the past. I would have forgotten about it already. That was only half a month ago. You're forgetting so soon. Could it be that you felt wronged by Mr. Law, then decided to kill him out of vengeance? That's wrongful accusation. I don't even have the guts to kill a chicken, let alone a person. When you arrived on the scene this morning, were there any other people around? No one. But Clarence arrived pretty much right after. I have already told you everything. chickens. We can investigate chickens. 2 free-range chickens here. Free-range chickens or walking chickens have delicious meat due to their ample exercise. Oh, that was it. Okay, I think that leaves one thing to do. My assistant should open up the lock. This is Frankie. Please allow him to assist. He's mechanically minded, skilled in comparing traces. He will be of great help. That's called science. Since we already allowed Mr. Shen to investigate, let him do things his way. You have my gratitude, Your Honor. Alright, I guess we need to ask him questions about the garage dispute. I heard that you once had a dispute with Robert. Could you... The audacity. How dare you suspect me? I've yet to confirm a suspect now. I also believe that Officer Ma has nothing to hide. I guess there's no harm in telling you about it. Robert asked me to drink and share experiences for his novels. If it was only drinks and stories, why would there be a need to draw your sword? You heard that gossip from Earl, didn't you? That was only a verbal dispute. We just had different views on a case, that's all. Officer Ma says that it was only a verbal dispute, but is that really the truth? No more questions for now. Frankie, this wardrobe is locked. Do you think you could find a way to open it? No problem. This kind of bolt pin spring lock is a piece of cake. I will leave it to you then. What you doing touching that wardrobe for, you punk? I thought I told you not to mess with the crime scene. Officer Ma, this wardrobe is one of the few remaining blind spots. One of the few. I believe that neither you nor Judge Cheng would want to get this case wrong. Of course, due diligence is crucial. You better be careful. Haha, I did it. Looks like someone hid inside this wardrobe before. Well, partition board removed, cloths piled up, enough space for one to hide. Could it be that the murderer once hid inside this wardrobe? There's no rush to jump to conclusions. Let's examine the scene carefully. All right. There are all clean cloths. They are now piled up on one side. These cloths are compressed. The board couldn't compress cloths alone. John, there's a strip of cloth over here. Could this be a clue? Take it out for further examination. It's a bunched up strip of cloth. It was probably used as a ribbon to tie up quilts. This ribbon is dirty in the middle. It seems to be smudged with dust. This quilt has traces of bindings, so the ribbon most likely was removed from here. Why would someone remove the ribbon from a bundled quilt and stuff it inside the cloths? Indeed, it is quite peculiar. We need to record this situation. Tough fabric smudged with dust in the middle, initially used to tie quilts, but was removed and stuffed into the cloths pile. What is that black spot? A wood chip. Alright. All the cloths are clean. I guess a piece broke off from the partition board and landed here. No, the color and texture differs. I'm knowledgeable in types of wood. Let me take a look. 3D is different. It's not the same material. Camphor wood wardrobes can repel insects and leaves a lasting fragrance on cloths stored within. However, this chip has no fragrance. It's brownish and hard. It seems more like pine wood. Why would a pine wood chip appear in a wardrobe? Well, it's obviously from the latch. What else is here to discover? This seems quite odd. Have you noticed something unusual? Look closely at the bottom of the wardrobe. The left side with cloths has collected dust. Yet the empty space to the right is unusually clean, as if it had just been wiped. Then it seems like someone cleaned this place. Alright, so let's go to the latch. Simple and modest front. The broken latch still hangs on the door, exposing the grain of the wood. Okay, he seemed flustered. He had a chance to tamper with the rice cakes. Maybe he did kill him. They also had dispute. Try to make it sound lighter. It's not as simple as it seems.
Huh?
John, why is this wood chip worth investigating? How is this connected to the case? The wood chip appears between two piles of clean cloths. Also, it is made of different wood. Okay, this is part of the latch. Here's the proof. This wood chip fell from the door latch, of course. The material and texture is perfect match with the door latch's fracture. Well done. This may just be the key to unfold the truth, but very strange. How could a wood chip from the fracture of a door latch appear in a wardrobe? As the case gradually becomes clearer, the truth will come to light. Why would they remove the ribbon from the quilt, then stuff it in the cloths pile? Dirty in the middle must have been used in some way to leave such a smudge. Do you think the murderer took the ribbon to bind Robert? However, there are no ligature marks present on either Robert or I. I see. Then again, this ribbon, I can't help but feel like I've seen it before. Where was it? I remember now. When I arrived last night, I saw cloth strips hanging from the ceiling. Okay. Could it be that Robert was strangled to death before he was stabbed? No. Then there would be a strangulation marks around the corpse's neck. Well, then... Well, now I don't know. So... It seems that there are no clues here. Robert's apparel, yes, we can ask about that. Your uncle's attire, coat, deerstalker and false mustache is quite unusual. The hat and the mustache are all characteristics of his novelist identity. He purposely dressed himself up this way to become famous. So that ill-fitting strange coat is also one of his characteristics. Strange coat? You mean that Western-style coat he wears all the time? Precisely, that tailor-made coat of his. Yeah, this was one of my uncle's characteristics. He spent a lot to hire the best tailor and use the best fabric. But it turned out, the fact that this coat was not present at the crime scene is what caught my attention. So you're saying that my uncle's coat disappeared out of thin air? Perhaps the murderer took it with them. Detective Shen, you've provided me with an excellent plot for a novel. This is good. I should have talked with Robert's relative and asked about the code. According to Clarence, this code was tailor-made for Robert. The code is one of the characteristics of Robert's novelist identity. He wore it all the time. Something of such importance ought to be left at the scene. However, it is no longer in this room. The murderer is the only person that to have left this room. He must have taken the code with him. The murderer must have had a reason to do so. Well... Okay, we already investigated the wardrobe. There's a newspaper here that carries the news. Okay. Alright, so I see that we can re-investigate the scene with Frankie now. So that makes sense. I've always liked this novel. I didn't know he was the one who wrote it. Look at the photo. The one on the left is Robert. The one on the right is the young lady we saw crying last night. Petra Lu. Okay, so together we analyzed the same that detective did on his own. Parts of books underneath. Let me see what kind of books he reads. Yeah, I was right. This is the Golden Law. There is no need to read it out loud. Okay, it's nothing. Can we investigate? Yes. Let's investigate it once more, but this time with Frankie. You know, like Frankie said, to leave it my way. Right, I don't think this is the thing to do, but I'm curious because we are able to re-investigate, so John, is it possible for the murderer to reach in through the window from outside to kill Robert? Human arm is no longer than 3 feet, but the window was more than 10 feet away from the deceased. That's easy. All you need to do is make a mechanical arm that's 10 feet long. Only you could make something like that. Could it be? I was just kidding. Okay. Detective, you looked through this place. Should you explain your reasoning to Mr. Chang? Quit wasting time. If you ain't got a proper answer, just let me arrest you. What was that? Begin reasoning? Now? Detective, what do we do? There are still a lot of mysteries we haven't solved yet. We've already examined all the places that could be investigated within the courtyard. Even though the truth is yet to be clear, we need to discuss the case with Judge Chang. Your Honor, I believe that we are now able to discuss this case. You may begin. Deduction. When deceased was discovered, this room was sealed off. The window cannot be opened, leaving as the front door locked from the inside. When the front door was reopened, the deceased and I were the only people inside the room. That's correct. Under these circumstances, everyone, including myself, would instinctively believe that the murderer must be someone who is still within this room, which would be me. Hence, we have all neglected the possibility of third person hiding inside this room. Alright, then tell me, where on earth would this third person would be hiding? That would be the wardrobe. All traces within the wardrobe show that someone was hiding inside it not long ago. There's one other person in the room. Detective Shen was the person hiding in the wardrobe, the murderer. That is correct. The killer hid in the wardrobe, and after you and Robert ate the rice cakes and passed out, sneaked out, murdered Robert, and framed you for it, right? Is that the truth behind this incident? It seems to conflict with the scenario in my memory. What? Oh man, yeah, there's also one thing that I'm not sure of, because, well, the detective ate the rice cake and fell instantaneously, while, well, the novelist should notice that, right? While now they suggest he ate it as well and passed out with, I don't know, delay. That something is not right. When I arrived last night, this wardrobe was already locked from the outside. That's right, I remember. Oh, right. If the person inside was the murderer, he would not have been able to get out by himself. Oh man, now I understand. You know what happened? The guy we met was not the uncle of this kiddo. He was someone else, and the body was probably there, hidden. Oh man. Last night I was the one who latched the door. Theoretically, it is highly unlikely for anyone else to enter the scene after that. Current situation is not much different from the past. Books under the bed, locked wardrobe. Okay, I know. Evidence points to someone in the wardrobe. The only place to hide. Okay, I think the girl we met at night might know something, because maybe she came and maybe the novelist, I mean someone who was pretending to be him, said something mean to her, like, go away you crazy whore, or something like that. I bet it's something like that. Must be. Blood splatter confirms the presence of a third person. If the person in the wardrobe was not the murderer, then it could be only this person. That's right. Yes. Identify. Wait. If the person in the wardrobe was not the murderer, then it could be only be this person. person hiding in the wardrobe was not the murderer, then it must have been Robert. What a laudable. Why would Robert hide inside his own wardrobe? Is he playing hide and seek? This is the only possibility. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Why would Robert hide inside the wardrobe? In search of inspiration. It was not of his own will. No, he did not hide inside the wardrobe on his own will. He was hid inside by someone else. If the person hiding inside was Robert, then who did you meet? Didn't you just say that after you hung the door, Robert was the only person in the room? I believe that the person I saw in this room was not Robert, but the actual murderer. There was a candle light inside last night, but I had to knock for some time before getting a response. Before opening the door, they even specifically tried to confirm if we had ever met before. Right, that was the case. If the person you met was not Robert, how couldn't you recognize the corpse this morning? He wore a fake mustache, lowered his head, and kept his back turned to me in the dim light. That's right. At the time, the real Robert was most likely knocked out and moved inside the wardrobe. What you have just said does explain the presence of a third person within the room. Officer Ma, what do you reckon? These are all just speculations. You got any evidence that proves that person who was hiding inside was Robert? Man, I'm not sure about that. That person was hiding inside the wardrobe. Okay, two things were found in the wardrobe and could be only these two. I think this might have been used to open doors, maybe? I'm not sure. Oh man, so if we select this piece of wood, would it mean that well, someone left it to make the latch weaker on purpose? Wait. When we came, this cloth part was hanging on the wall, I guess, but after we were knocked out, it was in the wardrobe and it was closed. So the murderer must have been sitting by the desk when we entered. He said, "Please let me finish my thought. Please eat the rice." Right? And he waited until we were unconscious. Probably happened the same thing to the Robert. earlier. So maybe it was someone who was well, known to Robert because he accepted the gift and he knew the gifter knew that gifted the Robert liked rice, but which is it? This was somewhere on the wall. Some part of it was like dirty in the middle. I don't get why. Ah, man, am I dumb? I wanna go for this. Gonna go with this. Right, I hope I will not. Tough fabric. Smudged with dust in the middle. Initially used to tie quilts, but it was removed and stuffed into cloths pile. I just don't know. Okay, Are you saying that this can prove that Robert was inside the wardrobe last night? Why is it that I can't tell? Well, give me a moment. Okay, so it wasn't. I recall the wardrobe is made of camphor wood, which has a strong scent. I should be able to provide evidence that is more concrete. Okay, so it was wrong. Are you saying that this can prove that Robert was inside the wardrobe last night? Oh man. Seriously, I don't know. I don't. Okay, it is. This is the autopsy report. Explain a lot of questions. Oh, yes. Phew. Robert's hair smelled of camphor wood, confirming he hid inside the wardrobe. It repels insects and leaves lasting fragments within. Even if Robert's clothes caught the scent, his hair wouldn't, unless Robert was inside the wardrobe and his head was against the partition board the entire time. Don't you forget, Robert usually wears a hat. That could just be the scent from his hat. This hat has no scent. Coats and hats worn frequently don't go into the wardrobe. Detective Shen's deduction is indeed reasonable. What else have you found on the deceased? White glutinous rice powder on the collar of the deceased rice cake crumbs. This shows that, like I had, he ate rice cakes that were laced with knockout drugs. He was was stabbed 3 times, yet the absence of defense wounds also proved this point. He wore a loose fake mustache, like removed and reattached. All of the details above are able to confirm my deduction. The Robert I met last night was actually impersonated by the murderer. Not bad, not bad. This deduction is very reasonable. Your deduction ain't bad, I'll give you that. But until I broke open the door, the room was locked from the inside. How did the murderer leave the scene while the door latch was still hanging on the door? True, the front door is the only exit, and the door latch can only be hung from within the room. Please have a look, Your Honor. This is the key to solving the mystery on the door latch. I hope it's this. Wood chip? That's correct. The key lies within this wood chip. I don't get it. Ain't it normal for someone to stumble, to fall from the partition board when moving it around? No, it is abnormal. Wood chip did not fall from the partition board. It appeared on a pile of clean cloths. More importantly, the inner wardrobe is made of camphor wood, yet this wood chip is pine wood. Frankie carefully checked and confirmed wood chip matches broken latch. This wood chip is a piece of stubble that flew off when the door latch was broken. When Officer Ma broke the latch, the wardrobe remained locked until Frankie opened it just now. This is extremely abnormal. That's strange. Why would the wood chip appear inside the wardrobe? I wouldn't say it's insignificant, because it is unknown. Maybe it is significant. I have yet to completely deduce what caused the wood chip to appear inside the wardrobe. Man, I feel like Dominic Cumberbatch? Yes, hard to pronounce surname. However, this issue is insignificant at this stage. What we need to focus on is when the wood chip entered the wardrobe and what it uncovers. Detective, please tell me now, what truth does it uncover? More importantly, it shows that the door latch was broken before the wardrobe was locked. Yeah, it makes sense. So, latch must have been broken. Then somebody looked, oh man, I left some remains of the latch. I need to cover it, some traces, evidence, right? And he thought, but it would be smarter to just take it or leave it by the doors. But if the detective was awakened before somebody found the body, he might find it as well. Okay, more importantly, it shows that the door latch was broken before the wardrobe was locked, which means that when the door latch broke, the doors of the wardrobe were still open. Okay, so that's what they think. I thought that someone made the latch weaker by messing with it. doors of the wardrobe were still open. Most recent time we know of the wardrobe doors were open should be before you woke up, right? That is correct. Then doesn't that mean that before Officer Ma kicked open the doors, the door latch was already broken? Yeah. In other words, this is not a locked room at all. You're the best detective. No wonder the door was so easy to kick open. I just thought it was shabby and old. All contact leaves traces. The murderer's plan was flawed by a wood chip left in the wardrobe as incriminating evidence. This tiny wood chip not only exposed their cunning scheme, but also allowed me to follow his footprints and deduce his true identity. This person who murdered Robert is, well, must be Clarence. This guy. You lie. How could I possibly kill my own uncle? Your Honor, please, he's trying to frame me. Well, you believe that Clarence Law is the murderer. Where is the evidence? Door latch was not broken when the door were kicked open, but broken beforehand. The so-called sealed-off state of the room was illusion created by the murderer. He appeared to knock on the door, but he was just securing it from unwanted entry. Until Officer Ma kicked the door, that is when the murderer let go of the door. In this way, he could mislead others to believe that the door was locked from inside. You have all been fooled by his performance. Wait, what? That it wasn't me. Clarence Law, I will tell you this, you are blinded by your ego. Your scheme was a fatal weakness. Has a fatal weakness. What weakness? To ensure the success of your plan, you had to control the door of all times, at all times. Thus, I can be sure that you are the murderer. You lie. Is there anything else you want to say at this point? He's a liar, deceiver, a fibster and cheater, a phony and misleader. I have something to say too. Detective Shen, you made up a story and said bunch of absurd theories. Did you really see it happen? Why in the world should we believe your words? In my opinion, you're the one who's misleading everyone. Then what evidence do you have for saying that? There's a clear and simple reason. I have no motive to murder my uncle. He's right. I still have not fully understood the circumstances related to the motive. Robert is my uncle, my family, my blood. Why would I want to kill him? What's more important is the problem between you and me. This is the first time we ever met, am I right? That is correct. We have never met each other before, apart from the last night, probably when impersonating the Robert. Why would I go through the trouble of framing you by killing my own uncle? I couldn't possibly have known about your visit. How could I design a plot to frame you? It was a coincidence that I had surprised you in your act. Coincidence? Didn't you just say that all of this was a plot that I had designed? Detective Shen, is it true that the two of you have never met? Yes, that is correct. If that's the case, then Clarence indeed has no reason to frame you. Things aren't looking too good for us. Ah, I'm so relieved. It means that there's more story to be uncovered. Could you be mistaken? No way. John's reasoning has never been wrong. Or like one-sided statement. Where's the proof? Well, Clarence also has a certain truth to his words. Detective Shen, do you have any further evidence to support your claim? Accusing him without proof is difficult and risk putting me in a tough spot if you're wrong. Not at the moment. Without proof, I can only arrest you according to matters on scene. Come on then, Mr. Shen, you're going to have to come with us to the government office. There are shameless people who claim to be detectives. Never thought I'd meet one today. I'll just think of its drawing materials for my novel. Damn it. I managed to come so far with my reasoning. Am I really going to let him escape? Try to think harder. Could it be that we missed some kind of clue? Didn't you always say that you were really confident in your memory palace? Evidence that can be used to accuse Clarence must still be in this room. All contact leaves traces. The evidence is not non-existent, but instead undiscovered. All objects and images settle in different locations sequentially. What could be missing from the table? Oh! Calligraphy brush holder. This could have been missing, but if the impersonating murderer was writing something, right? Yes, so handwritten manuscript. We could probably tell by the way he was writing if it was Robert, if it was the same as other manuscripts. It must be this. If not, I really don't see any connection of with the brush holder or inkwell, so let's go with this one. The thing that was missing from the table was Robert's manuscript. Okay, I think I maybe was right. Ink on the inkstone has yet dried, and one of the calligraphy brushes has not dried out either. This proves that that someone was writing something at the desk last night. It could have been Robert or Clarence, who was impersonating Robert. No matter who it was, the manuscript should have been left at the scene unless someone took it away. When was the manuscript taken away? I should have an impression of this matter. When investigating the desk, I felt strange. I needed to grasp onto this feeling. Here it is. I remember now. Upon waking, I recall seeing the manuscript on the desk, causing peculiar sensation within me. This means that the manuscript was taken after I woke. Someone concealed this clue during investigations. Who was it? Why would he do this? The most likely person would be the murderer. However, there are still other possibilities. What's the probability of emergence of other possibilities? Very low. Aside from the murderer, no one else on the scene had the motive to conceal clues. So how do we treat these low probability events? We temporarily exclude them from our hypothesis. I am really busy right now. Could you go away? I'm helping you sort your case, great detective. Assuming the murderer hid the manuscript, it must be very important to him. What could be written in the manuscript? Motive? Key evidence? Last words? Was it valuable? There are too many possibilities. This is the question you were supposed to be asking. Why would something he risked taking away in broad daylight be left behind that night? Oh man. Why would something he risked taking away in broad daylight be left behind that night? Well, forgetting, it's just too convenient. It appeared after the crime. This might be. It was altered. Could be, but low chance for first and third. So I'm gonna go with the second. Could it be that the manuscript appeared after murderer left the scene? Only two people inside the room, Robert and I. The manuscript could not have appeared on its own. Don't complicate the problem. The truth is often simple and instinctive. Why would something he risked taking away in broad daylight be left behind? It was altered. I believe there might be blood there. Wait. Bert didn't die right away after he regained consciousness. He left dying message. Can't be. No traces of movement. Would at least be bloodstains. This is really good. This is like reading Sherlock Holmes. Don't complicate. Okay. So they claim they forget it. Although sounds unbelievable, but the murderer forgot something when he left the scene. Upon returning, he recognized the manuscript and took the risk of keeping it. This case was a homicide. The scheme was planned in advance. The murderer is a very meticulous person. He carried out his plan carefully. What kind of thing could they have forgotten? Are you sure that everything went according to the murderer's plan? That's right. There was one thing that murderer could not have planned. What was not part of the murderer's plan? Earth's arrival. It seems it was expected because it was happening every day. My arrival. This could be the answer. Well, Robert yeah, this could be because the detective came to the doors and he said, I am someone, I came to ask questions, I'm sorry I'm being late. And he was like, who are you? Oh, I remember, okay. So it was like he was surprised by arrival. Impersonating Robert. This could also be true because his mustache was crooked. Dragging the rice cakes, I think this was part of the plan. And Earth's arrival, this just both seems connected, but impersonating Robert seems easier. However, I'm a little bit shaky on the details of the wardrobe, so let's try my arrival. Oh, I think we're getting to the bottom of this. Man, I'm excited. Even Clarence himself said that he could not possibly have known of my arrival. However, he actually designed a locked room and framed me for this crime. The most unreasonable part of all this is that I became a part of his... Yeah, that makes sense. It wouldn't be reasonable to put a detective into the murder scheme or a murder plan. What if you hadn't appeared then? They would have another plan, I would say. They would not commit murder? Could this be? Maybe they tried just to drag him, but detective came and somehow forced him to do this? Seems unlikely, to be honest. They would have another plan. Yeah. Okay. Evidently, the murderer had another murder plan, which was his original plan. Murderer's plan was foiled by my surprise visit and insistence on meeting Robert. Realizing I had never met Robert, the killer improvised and posed as him to frame me. So what was the murderer original plan? Okay, this is nonsense. Framing another person. Yes, falsify Robert's suicide. That makes sense. They hid the part of the, well, ribbon that was like dusted, and it was on the wall, right? Suicide. That's right. Oh man, this is good. If I had not appeared, there would have been only Robert's corpse. Evidently, murderer's original plan was to make Robert kill himself in the locked room. If the original plan was to falsify a suicide, what could be hidden within the manuscript? A suicide note, of course. Oh man, this is so good. Detective Shen, if you keep dawdling around, I'm gonna have to resort to violence. Hold on. Judge Cheng, Officer Ma, I am now aware of all the murder's schemes. Agent Shen promised to uncover the truth. Your Honor, there's no need to listen to his fabrications any longer. Seeing how much this bothers you, I actually would like to give Detective Shen another chance. Detective Shen, although I believe you are at the end of your rope, you may begin. Clarence and I are completely strangers, yet I became a crucial part of his scheme because Clarence improvised his plan. His original plan was to falsify Robert's suicide. To falsify a suicide, Detective Shen, do you have any evidence? I believe the murderer accidentally left a forged suicide note here when he fled the scene. Oh, there was such a thing. Detective Shen, how could you be so full of yourself at times like this? If you found a suicide note, take it out for everyone to see them. If you recall, if he really did forge some kind of suicide note, I may cuff Clarence in an instant. Officer Ma, may I ask you a question? Go on then. When I first awoke, I remember seeing a piece of paper on the desk. Did you see it? Now that you mention it, I think there was. But then again, I don't remember that clearly either. You have repeatedly stressed that no one is allowed to tamper with the crime scene. However, during investigations, the murderer secretly hid the note under your nose. Let us search the room again and find the suicide note. I advise you to stop stalling for time. Your ability to make up stories is even better than us novelists. Detective Shen, I have heard enough reasoning today. Although your deduction sounds quite reasonable, after all, they are just one-sided statements. I need to see solid evidence to settle this case. Judge Cheng is so perspicacious. Since you claim that there is a suicide note, you have the obligation to find it. Your last chance, please point out where exactly is this suicide note. There's a big difference between one chance or two chances, perhaps. Give me one last chance. This is what Detective Shen said himself just now. Ungrateful Judge Cheng, one chance is more than enough. There's no such evidence like that at all. Times like this, there's no choice but to take a gamble. I think it must be this. Well, he also was reading something, but I believe, well, he could hear it here or here. Oh, we have 3 chances. Okay, let's go for this. Suicide note is hidden right here. Where? On you. You lie. Ma and I both searched inside and outside this house, but no note was found. The only possibility is that the forged suicide note is on you. Judge Cheng, does John Shen want to search my body without any clear evidence? I'm a provincial scholar. I shall be treated with dignity. Well, if it is necessary to make myself more clear, this is the exact location. How could that possibly be hidden on me? The manuscript missing should be the book that you have been holding this entire time. Forged suicide note must be hidden within it. That's not... Officer Ma, take that book for examination. Stay where you are, don't you dare move. Hand over that book. You, what? Don't come near me. Where are you running off to, Pan? Stop that. Your Honor, look, there actually was a piece of paper folded in here. In dire straits. I'll take my life. My dear nephew, please manage my affairs. Keep it simple. And accurate foretelling, Detective Shen. This is indeed a suicide note. Clarence Law, I can't believe it was you. Robert loved and cared for you enough. How could you do this to him? That's nonsense. He's the one who let me down. This is so good. So Clarence, are you admitting that you killed Robert? Slander, lies. No, it wasn't me. You should never commit murder, regardless of any resentment towards Robert. Detective Shen, could you recall the sequence of events in this entire case for me? Sure. The initial plan was to drag Robert and use the ribbon in the wardrobe to kill him. By using the door latch, he could create an illusion of Robert hanging himself in a locked room. However, during his act of murder, I arrived unexpectedly, insisting on meeting with Robert. Therefore, his only option was to improvise his plan and frame John for the murder. Clarence drugged me, killed Robert, and freed me by placing the knife in my hand. He there broke the door latch according to original plan to create a locked room, not knowing that everything leaves traces. How could murderer in reality be the same as the imagination of committing crimes in novels? Clearing the blood took longer than expected, delaying the scene preparation he had planned. As he was in a hurry, he left many loopholes. What loopholes? When he broke the door latch, he did not notice the wood chip that flew into his sleeves. He has no time to reorganize the wardrobe and simply stuffed the ribbon into the cloths of pile. Okay. Without notice, the wood chip slipped out from his sleeves and was left in the locked wardrobe. The most fatal one was that he actually forgot to take the suicide note with him. So he took away the manuscript from the table and hid the note in it. Am I mistaken, Clarence Law? You are the murderer. None of you truly understand. That's mine. It belongs to me. All of this is mine. How could this? How could I? No. No way. No way. No way. No way. No way. Look, he just fainted. Detective Shen, your performance has impressed me deeply. Not only were you able to clear your name, you also uncovered the culprit. Extraordinary. However, I still have a glimmer of doubt. Pray tell, Your Honor. The handwriting in a suicide note and Robert's manuscript is strikingly similar. Clarence has not confessed, and his motive is not clear. This case faces many variables. In order for this to become an ironclad case, more evidence needs to be found, am I correct? Yes, that's right. What do you reckon, Detective Shen? Clarence wore Robert's coat when he was impersonating him. That coat is missing. He probably took the coat when he first left the scene. He must have compelling reason. Oh, what reason is that? I suspect it was stained with the victim's blood. The drugged rice cakes as well. Clarence must have taken them away. He didn't have much time to deal with these items, so they could still be hidden somewhere. Well, Officer Ma, what do you reckon? If we find out that Clarence is hiding a blood-stained coat, then the case is closed. I sent people out to search for it right away. Well, what's left on this matter is all procedural. Sorry to wrong you in the first place, Detective Shen. Let's leave this place together. Case closed. I wonder why the girl was sobbing at the start. Detective, you don't seem particularly happy, even though the case is closed. Is it because you still haven't figured out the motive? Don't worry about it. We'll just go and ask Clarence after he wakes up. Frankie, do you still remember the reason why I came to visit Robert? You told me it was related to Robert's manuscript. Oh, you wanted to look into the case that happened 3 years ago in Tokyo. Your brother. Actually, I checked the local newspapers for this, but I didn't see much was reported. Due to the particular location of the crime, the police ordered those involved to keep secrecy. Including me, perhaps no more than 5 people knew details of this case. Recently, I stumbled upon a new detective fiction published on the Shanghai News. Was it the one that Robert was writing? That is correct. The writer, Robert Law, lives far off in a village in Hunan. What was airy about this matter was, John, could it be that? Yes, the details of the crimes written in Robert's novels are exactly the same as that case. Now that Robert is dead, we have lost another lead. Our only hope is Clarence. Perhaps he will know of something, but he's still unconscious. If that's the case, why don't we go grab some breakfast, John? Let me tell you something. I walked past this food stall earlier. The fermented bean curd they were selling smelled really yummy. Case number 1 closed. Alright, guys. Oh, I was thinking that it's the end. John, I regret agreeing to help Judge Chang find the blood-stained code. I thought you were confident when you guaranteed success and took this matter into your hands. Searching for clues is way too difficult. I'm much better at inventing things. We should go take a look at Clarence's house. Let us start with the place he's most familiar with. Your train of thought is as clear as crystal, detective. Man, I love it. I thought it's the end, but it's not. There are a lot of ants here. Huh? Alright. Yeah, I guess we won't go there. Okay, let's just check what it says. Okay. Brook. That blue-tailed fish is really pretty. Called the YANGTZE, a type of fish unique to Hunan province. Name alone sounds delicious already. If only I had a fishing rod. I just wanted to fish. Huh? Felt like John just experienced some sort of internal struggle. Look, John, this is giant tinder bamboo. When my idol, Mr. Edison, was inventing the light bulb, he tried over 1,000 plus materials. His idol, Mr. Edison. Well, it's not mine idol. Of course, Tesla was the true inventor. He discovered that this type of bamboo can be made into a good filament after carbonization. Where did my boo knife go? Oh, Okay. This might be a clue. This must be Clarence Law's house, right? That is correct. How did you come to that conclusion? Because I see familiar looking Mr. Soldier right over there. His Honor ordered that no one is to enter. Mr. Soldier, remember us? We're detectives who solved the Robert Law case this morning. I remember. You're the accomplice. Accomplices are not allowed to enter. Sir, we've been entrusted by Officer Ma to search for evidence. Can we enter the room? You too may enter. Judge Chang has instructed that if Detective Shen came, I must cooperate. John can bring home the bacon. What? Let us hurry on in to investigate. Oh, right, he broke the seal. It's so hot in this room. Not just hot, but sweltering. Autumn has just begun. There should not be a need for a charcoal fire. Is Clarence too weak to forgo blankets in summer? Frankie, do not hurry into assumptions. Oh, John, let's hurry up. The wardrobe is locked. The lock is almost the same as the one at Robert's house. Shall we try to break it open? If I were Clarence, I'd hide the coat in the wardrobe. Your showtime. Ah. Oh, what the hell? Oh, what? Seriously? Another body? You have completed the trial. Play for case number 1. Select the new game after returning to the main screen. To unlock the trial, play for case number 3. This was really good. Alright guys, this is just a preview. We're gonna continue this some other time. Boy, I like it. Iron and steel, the backbone of industry. In the history of Wu and Yue, there are records of the Gan Jiang and Mo Yi's secret to steel making. The transformation of spirit and matter requires a human sacrifice. Man, is it Full Metal Alchemist? I once believed that was only a legend nearly 3,000 years ago. Yet history chooses to repeat itself once more. The haunted furnace. Let's hurry on in. Alright guys. This is really great material for stream. And really sorry to see that there are not that many viewers today. This is gold, guys. This is gold. So let's, how about we continue tomorrow the same time? I just think this is really cool game. I will definitely play the full game when it will be released in English, but for today I think it will be enough. So case number 1 was closed, but we'll continue with the third one tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow. So guys, I hope you can come tomorrow to see it. I will post a message on Twitter, I mean X, and Facebook, so you know, and I hope to see you then. Anyway, I had a lot of fun today. I hope you guys did too. So yeah, thank you, and hope to see you again tomorrow. Stay strong, and good night.